Hello everyone and welcome back to Manifested Finesse on YouTube. My name is Manifesting Gaia. That is my Twitter, TikTok, and podcast. All the links are down below. And my affirmations list email is down below. And today we're going to be talking about not reacting to the 3D using the Sabbath state. I zoomed out my camera lens, or I did something. It's like weird. So you see? Anyways, let me know if you like it. I feel like a lot of people like it. A lot of people like seeing background. I don't know why. Like, I'm not the center of attention, but anyways, not reacting to the 3D is something that people have been asking. I feel like a lot of creators, but obviously me, a lot recently. Like, how do I not react to the 3D? How to become better at it? I can't stop. What do I do when the 3D triggers me? All that good stuff. Not reacting to 3D comes from a place of security and comes from a place of knowing your desires are yours and your desires are promised to you. Now, before everybody's like, how do I know? I can't just know. How do I get into the knowing? It's hard for me to just know. I got you. Relax. You can know your desire in a lot of ways, but I'm going to be talking about two ways. Number one is knowing its existence in your life, like being convinced of your desire's existence in your life, regardless of what your 3D is showing. Essentially, knowing what you want is yours because you've mastered yourself in this area of your life, aka self-concept. And when your self-concept is good, or a certain concept of your area is good, you're not asking where this thing is in your life. So if you're still reacting to the 3D, checking the 3D, where is it? Why is it taking so long? Your self-concept sucks because you're relying on things outside of you. You are your own validation. When your concept of self is on point in your mind, this is going only one of two ways. Either you're getting what you want or you're getting what you want. Your desires are not a request, but they're a demand. You know that your desires are yours because you're in control, because you're the operant power, because you don't need the validation, because the 3D is a reflection. The mirror will not show you anything you don't put in front of it. Money will not show if you are not acting like somebody with money. The second way a lot of people know their desire is maybe they have a hard time grasping the idea like, oh, I can touch $100,000 every month, or oh, this person will actually fall for me. But they know that manifestation is real. They know that it works. They know that their thoughts create. So if this person is knowing that their thoughts create, why then would they think thoughts, or why then would they entertain thoughts, scenarios, ideas that don't support them having what they want, that don't support them living their dream life, that don't support them being in control? So it's not so much like, oh, I'm having this specific person because even though they're not here in the 3D, they're mine. It's like, no, I'm having this specific person because I keep saying it to myself, because I don't have to believe my affirmations for them to work, because I'm being consistent and disciplined. So if I'm doing all that, then this specific person is mine. In any case, you stop persisting to get the manifestation in the 3D world because that's not where your validation is placed anymore. When you're convicted you have it, that's when you have it. Not when out here looks a certain way. No, when you know you have it, that is when you have it. That is when you're done. And sometimes when you get to this point, you stop persisting. You don't even want to. You don't even feel the need to. If it comes up in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, SP mine, money mine, grades mine. But you don't feel the need to sit down and take 20 minutes, an hour to say, I have straight A's, I have straight A's, I have straight A's. And this is because you have persisted so much. You stayed consistent, you stayed disciplined, and you've saturated your mind so much that your subconscious has soaked in this new story. And this point, this state of being, is called the Sabbath state. The name essentially comes from the idea that God, Christian God, for the first 6 days of the week, created the earth, and on the seventh day he didn't work, he rested and reaped the fruits of his labor. So in religion, the Sabbath day is the day of rest. You don't go to work. Usually you go to your place of worship and you celebrate and give thanksgiving and all of that. Now obviously you don't have to be religious to get into the Sabbath state, but just to put it into perspective for you, the idea that your consistency and discipline are meant to get you to a place where you know what you're telling yourself to be your truth, and you don't feel the need to continuously persist, continuously affirm, continuously take time out of your day. You finally know that what you're saying is your truth. You do the work to reprogram, saturate, flip thoughts, self-concept, until you're able to get to a point to where what you want in your mind is now what is. And a lot of people get to this point, they just don't know that they do, or they don't know that it's a thing or what it's called. Like, I'll see a lot of comments that are like, I affirmed so much yesterday, and then I went to bed and I woke up and the circumstances didn't even matter. I felt so good about the situation. I had so much anxiety last week and now I feel great. Like, what happened? Or sometimes people are even like, I used to affirm for this thing so much. I used to love doing it, or I used to do it all the time. And now I think about it, I don't even want to affirm. I don't feel like it. I still want the thing. I just don't feel like persisting anymore. Like, what's wrong? That's a good thing. Like, you're in the Sabbath. Like, you don't feel the need to keep saturating your mind because your mind understands. A lot of people don't understand the point of persisting and affirming and saturating. They're just doing it to get something. They don't see the point of it is to convince your subconscious mind that what you want is what is. So if you're actually doing that to actually convince yourself, you will reach a point where you don't feel the need to do it anymore. And that's a good thing. I want to be clear, just because you don't reach the Sabbath state doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And I personally don't get to the Sabbath state on all of my desires. I like to persist until it's in my reality. So I like to persist till it hardens into fact. I don't necessarily persist till I don't want to. That's just a natural occurrence of persisting sometimes. But other times you have such deep negative programming that you're gonna have to keep doing it. And maybe you don't get to the point where you don't have to keep doing it before it manifests. Sometimes you'll be persisting, and it'll show up and you didn't even fully believe your affirmations all the way. So it really just depends. I just need to make that clear because a lot of people have this thing where they hear a new term or a new concept and they have to force it to resonate with them. And if, oh my God, why can't I get here? Why can't I reach it? Why does everybody else do it? It's like, not everything has to resonate with you. Not everything has to make sense to you. Do what's working for you. Because with the Sabbath state, you can't make it happen. You can't force it to happen. Like we said in the beginning, where a lot of people are like, I can't just know. Yeah, because belief is a natural. You can't force yourself to get in the Sabbath state. It's a natural thing. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. So I'm about a 70-30. So 30% of the time I may get the Sabbath state and 70% of the time I don't. 70% of the time I can't just chill. Sometimes I just can't get there. I have such a dominant negative programming, and if I stop persisting for a day, my doubts will come back up and kick in. So I have to stay on top of them by continuously saturating my mind. It's not up to me. I don't have control over which desires get that. For that 30%, I don't persist anymore because persisting doesn't feel necessary. Remember, we're only persisting, we're only affirming, we're only visualizing to remind ourselves, to remind our subconscious of what we already have. Or we're trying to shift our states. So if I already feel like I'm there, why would I feel the need to keep trying to make that happen? The Sabbath state, by no surprise to anyone, is a concept that Neville Goddard coined. But you also know that he's the person that also said persist until it hardens into fact. Because manifestation isn't cookie cutter. Each desire isn't cookie cutter. So sometimes we're going to have to persist until it hardens into fact. Other times, we're going to be able to just know. So there are ways to get closer to the version of you that just knows. One way, the easiest, the most important way, is self-concept. You're focusing your mind on the version of you that has it all. You're the best. You're the only option. You're chosen. You're wanted. You're irreplaceable. You're irresistible. You're magnetic. You're attractive. You always get what you want. There is no other option but for you to succeed. Life always goes up right for you. And not only self-concept, but you're moving into the concept of your desires. So let's say you want to manifest a scholarship. Well, you're not going to be living as the version of you that doesn't have it. You're not going to be checking your emails every 5 seconds. You're not going to be refreshing the homepage of the school. You're not going to be checking the 3D and then when nothing changes, be getting upset and then being exactly who you were last week. You know that you're in control, so you know that there's no way that you're not getting what you want. You are living. How would you live if you had 40 scholarships lined up for you? If you had a full ride to every school? If you had a trust fund? If you had a college fund? How would you live if you had unlimited amounts of money? You wouldn't be checking your emails every day, would you? So you saturate and persist and stay on top of your thoughts and keep repeating. Because repetition creates plasticity and pathways. And you cannot create those things, or you cannot get to where you need to be by giving up. If you continuously give up, you redirect back to self-concept every time there's an issue in your mind. You're going to live, think, act, speak like there is 100% success rate for this thing, because there is. We're not living with fears. And for the second way that you can get closer to a knowing is just reminding yourself of the facts. Like, your thoughts create. Repetition creates plasticity in your brain. You're not persisting and tiring yourself out because there is nothing to tire out. You're not getting anything outside of you. The 3D is a reflection. You will not experience it in your physical world until you experience it in here. You are looking at a reflection. So if you are persisting, it has to show up. That is it. Stop fighting yourself on it. Who are you arguing with? You are arguing with yourself. Stop looking for problems. It all already exists. Every conceivable reality already exists. All you're doing, you are not shifting anything physical. All I'm doing is creating the shift in my mind, and the world will follow my mind, like it has been my entire lifetime. Also, there is no timeline for the Sabbath state. It's not literally 6 days. It is a natural shift. Stop overthinking. Stop overcomplicating it. If you've never experienced it, the best way I can describe it is when you're about to take a test in school and you studied so hard, so good for it. You saturated your mind with the flashcards. You studied so good. You get the test and everything's just like, oh, I know this, boom, 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 boom. And you hand it in and you already know you got 100 before you see it physically, before they even grade it. Like, you know you got 100 before you even took the test because of how well you saturated your mind. Again, it is not necessary for you to get in the Sabbath state for you to manifest. But if you want to get there, self-concept, consistency, persistence, discipline, that's it. And with that being said, that is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, you can have anything you want in this universe. Nothing's too big, small, wide, or expensive. I believe in you. You should believe in you. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.